Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or failure as you like. O spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. For only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. And I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel engladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance, make me dance. O Lord, make me dance as you like. So those were the words of our founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. My lecture tonight will be about Śrī Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Mahāprabhu, as we're less than a month away from the most auspicious day, Śrī Gaura Purnima. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha. So first of all, you are all to be congratulated because you're not in Maya. You're not in Maya because you're not home watching the stupid bowl. Instead, you are coming to hear Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha is the real nectarine of life. Krishna Katha is Amrita, as the beginning of the Bhagavatam. Pibata, we drink the nectar of this Krishna Katha. So since we are getting ready for Gaura Purnima, this month I will give at least three lectures on Lord Chaitanya. So we must always remember this shloka that I sang was composed by Rupa Goswami, correct? Rupa Goswami was direct disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a very big minister in the Muslim government of Bengal. Actually, he was born from a very aristocratic South Indian Karnataka Brahmana family. But he and his brother, Sanatana, they accepted big positions. And Rupa and Sanatana were doing so much for the Nawab Hussain Shah. But Rupa Goswami decided to retire. And when he retired, he became a disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is even an incident where he fell down with Sanatana, with straw in their teeth, bowing down to Lord Chaitanya in essence saying, we cannot even speak about our sinful activities. What to speak of giving them up? What a statement. But they had the impetus to surrender to Lord Chaitanya. So Rupa and Sanatana, they were very instrumental in bringing about Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author, Krishna Das Kaviraj, he compares Lord Chaitanya to a gardener. And this Lord Chaitanya, he is the gardener, he is the tree, and all of his associates, they form different branches and twigs of this, what we call Chaitanya tree. And in one place, Prabhupada says, our movement, ISKCON, is a little branch of that Chaitanya tree. And it's pointed out by Krishna Das Kaviraj that as long as you remain attached to this main tree and you are connected, then you'll be nourished by Lord Chaitanya and you'll become very, very happy in Krishna consciousness. So we must remember that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, the same Krishna that's on the altar, the same Krishna that's living in your heart. He's Krishna. But according to this first verse, Namo Mahavadanyaya. So Rupa Goswami is saying, oh, this Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous, most merciful incarnation of God. And there are other songs by Vaishnava acharyas saying the same thing, where we have that famous line, Nitai, what's that song? Parama Karuna, Paundui Jana, Nitai Gaura Chandra. Parama Karuna, supremely merciful. In the Christian theology, they teach that Jesus is the most merciful, that nobody can go to God the Father without going through Jesus. So he's considered the most merciful. But here, when we read Prabhupada's purports in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and elsewhere, he points out that not just Lord Chaitanya, but even some of his associates, that they are more merciful. Because in the Christian theology, you have to accept Jesus before you get the mercy. You have to accept. But in the case of the Panchatattva, Lord Chaitanya's movement, the Panchatattva, Lord Chaitanya in 5 features, they do not make any condition. In fact, whether you want it or not, they're going to give you, as it says here, Krishna Prema Pradayate. They're going to give you not just, give me that old-time religion. No. They're giving the topmost religion. Yes. This word religion, dharma, is different levels, different layers. And Lord Chaitanya pointed out what is the perfection of religion. The perfection of religion is right there in the beginning of the Bhagavatam. Paramo nirmatsaranang satam. It begins with becoming free from envy, jealousy, which are all based on material bodily identification. But in Lord Chaitanya's movement, no, there's no consideration, high or low, man or woman, black, white, green, red, yellow, young, old, doesn't matter. Poor, rich, enlightened, dull, doesn't matter. Everyone is eligible for this topmost gift. The perfection of religion, prema, Krishna prema, love of God. Love of God indicates person. That is the essence, that God is a person. I asked two of my God brothers long time ago, many years ago. One was Prabhupada's personal servant, Harishari Das. He used to give Prabhupada, in his language, massage. And another one was the famous Shyamasundara Das, who was instrumental in connecting Prabhupada with the Beatles. And he has books and so much association with Prabhupada. So on two separate occasions, I asked them, I said, my dear Prabhu, you've had so much association with Prabhupada. What was the most significant thing you learned from them? That's the kind of questions I like to ask. They both said, two different occasions, they both said, the greatest thing they learned from Prabhupada, God is a person. So, because God is a person, this love of God is already there in our hearts. That is another fundamental principle of Lord Chaitanya's theology or philosophy. That in every living entity, the soul, intrinsic with the soul is this love of God. And this love of God begins with a correct understanding of one's identity. Yes, this is important. What is my identity? Bhagavad Gita begins like that. When Krishna says to Arjuna, you're not your body, you're not your mind, you're eternal. 20 verses. The Bhagavad Gita begins with Krishna's instructions, and Gita begin 20 instructions. The difference between what is temporary and what is eternal, what is matter, what is spirit. This is first explained. And the big section of Chaitanya Charitamrita is the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. After Rupa Goswami retired from government service, Sanatana also got the inspiration. And practically, the Nawab Hussain Shah was carrying out his plundering just because Sanatana was back home managing everything in the capital, everything in the state. He was so expert. And when Sanatana wanted to retire, the Nawab said, no, you can't, no, I need you. How can I go and conquer Greenland and Venezuela if you're not taking care of business? So Sanatana said, oh, I'm sick. I can't come to the office today. But the Nawab, yeah, I don't think so. So he came and saw what was the sick Sanatana doing. At that time, he was not Sanatana. He was known as Sakara Malik. Yes. Him and Rupa even accepted Mohammedan names, Muslim names. So that's why they were ostracized from the strict Brahmin community, even though they were born in aristocratic South Indian, Carnatic Brahmin families. So the Nawab could see, oh, you're not sick. What was he doing? This. He was listening to Katha, Bhagavat Katha. That's how he was calling in sick. He was finished with all this management and business. So the Nawab had him arrested. But Sanatana, being intelligent, he escaped prison, bribery, yes. And Prabhupada writes, yes, such things are acceptable if the purpose is to engage in Krishna's service. That's the criteria. So when Sanatana escaped, he met up with Lord Chaitanya in Benares, Varanasi. And at a certain point, he came to Lord Chaitanya and he wanted to take instruction. So he bowed down to Lord Chaitanya, please instruct me. And how did his questions begin? Kayami, who am I? Just like sometimes in a children's program, if I do a children's program, and I want to mention this point, there is a cartoon, Alice in Wonderland, and there's one scene, and I think it's a cat says, "Who are you?" So Vedic knowledge is even there. Who are you? That is the beginning. That is the beginning of real inquiry of life. So Sanatana asked that. Who am I? And why am I suffering these material miseries? And Lord Chaitanya's immediate response, he said, Jivera Swarupahai Krishnara Nityadas. I hope my Bengali is permissible. Accepted? Thank you. I'll give myself a ding. So, Jivera Swarupai Krishnara Nityadas. Lord Chaitanya said that your constitutional position as a jiva, living entity, is to be the eternal servant of God, the eternal servant of Krishna. And then, in the next sentence, Lord Chaitanya gave a very nice analogy, something to meditate. We have the sun and the sun ray, kirana, the sun ray. The sunshine, the sun ray is same as the sun, no difference. The difference is potency. Sun ray, morning sun, you can take benefit, very nice. Get healthy. Even Prabhupada recommended, yes, morning sun, you get your vitamin D. And even my own doctor, he's also telling me that. Hey, your vitamin D is low. Get out. Get into the sun. So, Lord Chaitanya says the jiva, the soul, is like a particle of sunlight. And in one place it says like pencil ray. The quality is the same, but potency. If the sun comes into your room, actually if the sun just moves a little bit, right? Just a little bit, poof, crisp, like a fire yagya, you know? When you go to the fire yagya at the end, what is it? It's all charcoal. If the sun disobeys Krishna's order and comes even a little closer, one big swaha of the earth. Swaha. Yes. I was told if you get them laughing, you've got them. Yes. So that's how Sanatana Goswami's instructions from Lord Chaitanya begin. And then from there, series of questions going deeper and deeper into Krishna Tattva, the science of Krishna, the science of God. So, Namo Mahavadanyaya. So this Lord Chaitanya is so merciful, along with his associates, that freely they are giving this gift of love of Godhead. Since this love of Godhead is innate within everyone, then the question becomes how to awaken it. That's the whole process of preaching, of becoming Krishna conscious. It is to awaken. That's why last year, or I think it was last year or the year before, I gave a lecture. Krishna consciousness, the original woke philosophy. Yes, that is our philosophy. Tamasima Jyotir Gama. Come out of the darkness. Go to the light of the Vedic literatures. Indeed, our two main books. So Bhagavatam is directly stated. In the Bhagavatam, the sages of Naimisharanya, they asked Sutta Goswami in the first chapter, now that Krishna has returned, followed by religion, knowledge, and what will the people in Kali Yuga do for shelter? Where are they going to go? Because previously to this question, they said, oh, Kali Yuga has so many faults with it, describing the human being. Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagyahi upadruta. The people in Kali Yuga are lazy, less intelligent, unfortunate, and most importantly, always disturbed. That's what I'm seeing wherever I go. People are so disturbed. You just say you even look at somebody the wrong way. What are you looking at, man? Because everybody's on edge. We're all manipulated by the media. Yes, we're so manipulated. Everybody's on edge. Unless you chant Hare Krishna. You're not on edge because you chant. You're in Krishna consciousness. Yes. So, Lord Chaitanya is giving the greatest gift, and he's not asking for anything. He's simply giving freely. And so we try in our movement, we try to do the same. We try to give everyone the gift of Krishna consciousness. Just like this Sunday feast program. This was started by Prabhupada. When everything we do in this movement is because it was instituted by Prabhupada. So Prabhupada instituted the Sunday Love Feast. So what is this gift? Here it is. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Lord Chaitanya came for two purposes. He had personal reasons, and you could say general or external reasons. So here is the general external reason. Lord Chaitanya and his associates, they wanted to plunder the storehouse of love of God. In the material world, we keep our money, our jewelry, our wealth very secure, right? We even have in America Fort Knox. Yes, and in people's homes, they have security, especially very, very wealthy people. They may have security and a safe and so many things just to protect their wealth. But Lord Chaitanya's spiritual wealth, he's plundering. He's breaking open the storehouse and ordering his soldiers. Yes, give it out. Don't hoard it. A miser. Materialists, if they're hardcore materialists, the tendency is to be a miser. Keep it for me, none for you. But in spiritual life, no. And why? Because there's a science behind it. Nice. Now, if only our 401ks and our investments were like this. In Lord Chaitanya's investment program, right, the Nityananda Brokerage House, so if you give out, say, 10% of your spiritual assets, right? In the material world, if you give, like some religions, they tithe. The Mormons, if you want to be a Mormon, you have to tithe. That means you have to give 10%. Apart from the government, if you want to be a Mormon, you have to give 10% of your earnings. So you give out 10%, you're out 10%. But in Lord Chaitanya's investment brokerage firm, you invest 10%. At the end of the day, your account is 20. I like that. I like that. I give, and then my account is doubled? Very good. So therefore, the disciples, followers of the Panchatattva, they plundered that storehouse of love of God. And they're not satisfied until everybody is intoxicated. Intoxicated with love of God. Intoxicated, there's one description, that sometimes the members of the Panchatattva, they were in so much ecstasy, they were rolling on the ground. So, the members of the Panchatattva become very happy when they see people attending Hare Krishna festivals like Ratha Yatra, Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, and everybody is dancing and chanting, roaring the holy name. And we see descriptions when Lord Chaitanya would distribute prasad, he would put so much on a person's plate, enough for 5 people. Because Lord Chaitanya, see, this is why I joined this movement. I did not join a Hindu religion. No. I did not join a yoga society where I got to go. No. I'll tell you what religion I joined. Chant, dance, and take prasad. That's my religion. Yes. Very good. That means you're on the same page. Blessings on those who clapped. Special blessings. Chant, dance, take prasad. I'll do that forever. And what's so nice about Lord Chaitanya's ISKCON, remember I said, it's a little branch of the Chaitanya tree. Prabhupada has made ISKCON international society. And I've seen it. I've gone to South Africa. I've done Sankirtan and eaten sumptuous prasad in South Africa. In India, I've gone. And Australia, mate. They have good prasad. Yes. Australia is good because in Australia, Hare Krishnas are very popular. For what? Prasad. There's one temple in Australia. It's a farm community. I think it's called New Goloka. And the whole property, they got cows, they got land, they have lots of snakes. Yeah, they even have a devotee who's like a snake guy. Make sure the snakes don't come and bite because there's a big mountain in the back. Anyway, that whole farm community is subsidized because for a few months of the year, devotees cater these big rock concerts. And it's very, very popular. People love Hare Krishna food. Yes. And so by doing that prasad distribution, like Paul McCartney or Ringo, those who are smart, the devotees cater, so the people are going for their rock and roll, but they get prasad. Yes, so because of that, they maintain the whole farm community, and it's good PR. Yes. I remember 1974. I think you were still there, Dravida, when we did, in Brooklyn, we did the luglus on the subways. I used to eat half the bag. They were so good. Oh my God. But we would go on the subways, and I remember I had one friend, Viprahita. So we would go on the subways, and as the car was starting out, we'd make an announcement. So I would, we were there to collect donations and give out books such as Reservoir of Pleasure. We flooded the subways. But then, thanks to one Harikesh Das, he got the temple to make luglus, and they were in little plastic bags. So if somebody gave a nice donation, they'd also get a luglu. And before long, it was like the hit of... So one time a devotee was going on the train, the conductor said, "Hey, you got any of those luglus?" Yes. Anyone who knows New Yorkers, they love prasad. Yes. So that's Lord, it's our secret weapon. I've sold the story so many times. My first time having prasad, that was it. I jumped up, "Give me more! Give me more!" Gotta come back tomorrow. I couldn't wait. That spinach tasted like nothing I'd ever eaten. I hate spinach. My mother would make spinach, I'd spit it out. But this spinach, there was something special. This was out, I jumped up. What is this? So, prasad is so powerful, so powerful. So, Lord Chaitanya, Krishnaya Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Namne Gora Tvishe Namaha. Remember in the beginning I said, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but he's Krishna in disguise. We mentioned this, I don't know if I said it here, but last week I was in a different temple and I was speaking about Lord Baraha and how there is one shloka where it is mentioned 3 yuga, that the Lord appears in 3 yugas as Vishnu, but in the Kali Yuga, he comes concealed. And even in one of the prayers of Prahlad to Nisringa, he uses that term, Channa avatar. Hidden, disguised. So yes, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but not coming in the role as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No, he's coming in the role of a devotee of Godhead, like us. We are devotees, as was said earlier, when Lord Chaitanya said, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnara Nityadas. Eternally, we're Krishna's servant. Past, present, and future. That is our real identity. That's what it means to be spirit soul. Part and parcel of Krishna. Part and parcel of God. So, Lord Chaitanya, or shall we say, Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya, wants to taste the same ecstasy that devotees taste. Yes, I did mention that last time I was here. Yes, Dravida confirms. Thank you. Because he's brahmachari, so his memory is very sharp. It's true that brahmacharya gives you great mental prowess. That's why I can never argue with him. He knows too much. So when Dravida says something to me, I just shut up. Don't try to argue. He knows, yes. So, Krishna, this was mentioned by Advaita Acharya. Yes, my last class was on Advaita Acharya. I gave the example how Lakshmi, she's naturally situated on the chest of the Lord by her mark, Śrī Vatsa, curls of hairs. One place golden, one whitish, one silver. There's different descriptions. But that mark indicates that's her eternal position on the chest of Narayan. But she too leaves her position and goes down and massages Lord Narayan's lotus feet. And now the husbands are thinking, yeah, when is my wife going to massage my feet? And the answer is, when you become like Narayan. Yes. Because she also wants to taste the nectar that the devotees taste. That is the nectar, as Lord Chaitanya says. The nectar for which we are always anxious, coming from Krishna's lotus feet. Or in some verses, I'm sure Dravida has at least 3 or 4, how devotees are compared to bumblebees. Am I right? Yes? Bumblebees, and bumblebees like to be around very fragrant flowers, because in the pollen there is nectar. So they like to get that all over themselves. So devotees are like bumblebees. They want to drink up the nectar. And that nectar is in the form of course, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everybody? So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but in the mood of a devotee, and not just any devotee, the topmost devotee, Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Her very name, Radha, best worshipper of Krishna. So, Krishna, now we come to the inner reasons why he appeared. Externally, he came to give everyone the Mahamantra, not just for the Brahmanas. Everyone because it's Kali Yuga, and everyone is more or less considered Shudra, so everyone is entitled to accept this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No one's barred. Everyone should have access. That's why we go out and do Harinam, to give everyone this gift of the holy name. So that was the external reason. And the internal reason is that one day Krishna thinks, he looks at Radharani, his most intimate associate, his topmost dedicated servitor, and he realizes, wait a second, I'm Krishna. I'm the reservoir of all pleasure. I'm God. How come Radharani experiences a greater ecstasy than me? How is that possible? That is the only thing he cannot understand. Prabhu, God knows everything. Yes, that's for another class. But for our purposes, he looks at Radha and thinks, how come she enjoys more than me? And then he thinks, and what is the experience of loving me? What is he receives Radharani's love and affection and service, but he doesn't know what is that experience from her end. That's like I've said many, many times in different audiences. I will say to the husbands, you should know what your wife has to undergo to be married to you. Walk a mile in her shoes. And vice versa. Vice versa too. Not just the men. Okay, women too. It's not easy being a man. So, Krishna wants to understand what it means to love him. And also, he's wondering, what is it about me? What is the things about me that is so attracted to her? Why does she? So these things he wants to, but from the position of Krishna, he can't understand it, he can't taste it. So he goes, aha, I'll take her position and then I'll know. And that is Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in the role, in the mood, or in complexion of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, simply trying to understand what is the experience of being Krishna conscious. What is that experience? And that's why sometimes in Lord Chaitanya's Leela, there would be certain episodes when devotees would say, "You are God, you are Krishna," and Lord Chaitanya, la 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 la, he didn't want to hear, because it would ruin his ecstasy. He simply wants to be in that mood of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, which is so nicely explained in the final Shikshashtaka verse. We are advised by Krishnadas Kaviraj to recite these Shikshashtaka verses every day, and we will see our love of Krishna growing. So that final verse, Ashlashyava padaratang pinashnumam adarshanan marmahatam kurotuva yata tatava vididhatu lampato mat prananatastu saeva naparaha. My dear Lord, you are my Lord in any circumstance. You can embrace me. You can break my heart. Doesn't matter. I will not leave your lotus feet. You are my only Lord. That is, and then such a nice chapter, because after the verse, Lord Chaitanya at this point takes on the whole role of Radharani, takes on her voice, and Radharani explains what is her mentality. Radharani says there that if there's something Krishna likes, but I hate it, doesn't matter, I like that. And if there's something that Krishna likes or hates and no. Everything is about what will satisfy, what will please Krishna's senses. Radharani has no sense, no idea of selfishness. It's all about how can I love and serve Krishna. When Krishna is happy, then she's happy, not otherwise. In a similar vein, we could give the example, the nice story of how Narada Muni was once sent on a mission by Krishna. I'm going to teach you now something, Narada. You go to some brahmanas down there and you tell them that I have a headache, and that the only thing that will cure my headache is the dust of the brahmana's lotus feet. So Narada went, because Narada is, Narada is a transcendental spaceman. He has his, not a guitar, he has his veena. And just with that, he can fly anywhere in the universe. He can go to heaven, he can go to hell, he can go to Vaikuntha. He's free. So he went to the Brahmins, said exactly what Krishna said. And when the Brahmins heard this, they said, "Are you sure you're Narada? What is this nonsense you're talking? That Krishna wants the dust of our feet? Don't you know that if we even attempt that, we will go to hell? Go away. You must be some bogus Narada. Go." So Krishna went back. Narada went back to Krishna. So then Krishna said, "Now, go to earth. Go to my gopis. See what happens." So Narada went. He went to the gopis. He said, "I was just with Krishna. He has a headache." And the gopis said, "What? Krishna has a headache? What can we do?" Narada said, "The only thing Krishna said that will take away the headache is the dust of your feet." "Okay, take. Take as much as you want. And Narada said, wait a second. Don't you know you're going to go to hell? We don't care. All we care about is relieving Krishna's headache. If it means we go to hell, let it be. So Narada could understand, yes. This is what we call selfless love. Prabhupada explains that the closest thing we have to this kind of understanding is the mother's love for the child. I've seen it in my life, and I'm sure you've seen it. A mother will do anything for the child, even at her own expense, even if it's disadvantage to her. Whatever the child needs, the mother naturally gives. So that is a special gift given by Krishna, that mothers have this natural feeling. So, last time, or previous last time, I was instructed to leave time for questions, but I might need help because my hearing is not so good. So I might need somebody to restate the question loud enough for my ear. But before we do that, let's chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody. All right, who has a question? I knew it. Oh, Dravida has.
The bees. I thought of a nice verse by Rupa Goswami describing the bees who always hover around Krishna.
Yes.
You ready for it? Urasipadispuradindidamindindidamundida sujolasitam haramanganati mangala mangala sachandanam bande. Upon his chest is manifest the mark of goddess Śrī, and there to rest the best of Vris, a temple for the bees. Now, I should have, there's a word in English called limb. It doesn't have anything to do with the arms. L-I-M-N. It means to describe. Based on like illuminate and things like that. So, very important. Upon his chest is manifest the mark of goddess Śrī, and there to rest the best of reeds, a temple for the bees, who worship him by singing hymns that limn his loving play, while Śrī Hari most gleefully acclaims the way they pray. For Braja's love-mad milkmaids and for all the Brahmins' wives, Śrī Kṛṣṇa is the ultimate good fortune in their lives. His sandal paste anointed limbs bedim the full moon's glow. Unto the lotus feet of Śrī Hari I bow down low.
Jai. Balaram, do you want to add anything to churn the nectar?
No, I think yeah. I think Chad has, yeah.
We have a question.
No, that's not a question, but I'm going to India on Tuesday, so I want to tell the story. I still remember, because I chant Hare Krishna on my car towels and play my whistle at children's parks sometimes, and the kids hear it in the distance. They all like it. They kind of give me the thumbs up. And I was chanting the other day, and the ice cream truck pulled up with its jingle jangle music, and it was playing, "Oh, Susanna, won't you cry for me?" So I said, why fight it? Just what goes in perfectly with it. Oh, no. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I wanted you to chant too.
That is called Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means you can take any situation and make it Krishna conscious. That requires some mercy from Krishna to do that. But it comes because Krishna consciousness is cumulative. Well, I mentioned in the beginning your spiritual 401 account, 401k. So we all have a spiritual account. And the more devotional activities we do, it's increasing, and nobody can touch it. And there's no taxes. It's your account. And as I said, if you preach, if you give Krishna consciousness, your account only increases more. So that's why devotees who are somewhat realized, they understand this. It's like my wife. She doesn't mind working, doing the housework, doing a job, because, and she reminded me the other day, yes, I want you out there preaching so I get my half. Yes, she gets half of whatever I do. So she's there. Very smart, very good. Yes, you have a question, comment? Then what? Wait, we got to hear it.
You mentioned how very famous verse, Namo Maha Vadanyaya, and Vadanyaya is probably what often translates as most magnanimous. As an editor, I'm always wondering the word to look up magnanimous. Magnanimous can mean generous, but mostly it means forgiving. Munificent, which is often also used as the same.
Yes.
The giving, very generous, which is that. So Lord Chaitanya is both. Last week we were celebrating Nityananda's appearance, and I think you very nicely, was told the pastime of Lord Nityananda and Jagai Madhai, the most famous pastime. So Lord Chaitanya came to annihilate Madhai, who had thrown that pot at Lord Nityananda and drew blood, And Lord Nityananda reminded him, hey, in this incarnation, you're not killing anyone, And he reminded him that Jagai had stopped, he actually caught Madhai's hand when he was going to throw another pot. So then he forgave Madhai, Jagai. And then Jagai got love of Godhead. And then Madhai also, received from Nityananda. They both forgiven. So Lord Chaitanya is the most forgiving and the most munificent, the most giving. In that he's giving the most valuable thing for free. The most valuable thing that can be is prema bhakti for Krishna, and he's giving it just chant, dance, and as you so aptly said, take prasadam.
So, will that appear in a upcoming Dravidian poem?
Oh, magnanimous and munificent? Well, it may. But if you want to, it's time to end, so we have 30 seconds. So let me give my little poetic translation of that last verse of the Shikshastika, which is Ashlish Shabha Paradatam. Let Madhava, so Radharani speaking, this is Radharani uttering this verse. Let Madhava embrace this maid who's fallen at his feet. or let him trample me, or my most ardent hopes defeat, by never giving me a chance to see him anywhere, thus shattering my heart and plunging me into despair. You see, he is a restless libertine, and not a saint, so let him act in any way he likes without restraint. Yet though his cruel and crooked ways may cause me constant woe, Krishna is the only Lord my heart shall ever know. Hari Hari Bol.
There you go. All right. We're over time. Thank you very much. May Lord Chaitanya fill your heart with love of God.
Okay, thank you very much, Nirantara again. Hare Krishna.